My name is Ron Seiler. Um, I've spent over 30 years in the auto sector, and I've developed a system, a computer diagnostic system, that helps customers get their car fixed. And it's currently used worldwide in approximately 23 different countries. What I would like to do is share with you some of the knowledge that I acquired in doing such a system. There's basically three parts. Understanding a complex system, diagnosing a complex system, and if you do it right, how much more efficient it can be versus what it costs automotive companies today to do it so expensively. They spend billions of dollars a year that they don't need to be spending. And I think the concept here that I'm sharing with you applies to more than just automobiles, trucks, trains, satellites, spaceships, whatever, because individual systems, complex systems, as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty much all the same. So let's begin with step one. The example that I'm about to give you is a real example. It's about a van, and different customers all over the country are complaining about they think, different problems with their van. And these symptoms can be from my van doesn't get cool enough in the summer, my van doesn't get hot enough in the winter, my van's got an odor, musty odor, my van's got a vibration under certain drive mode conditions, my van's got water inside the windshield when I approach it in the morning and the sun's beating down. So you can see certain symptoms, you can hear certain symptoms, you can smell, and in some cases you could taste. So all the senses can detect symptoms on a complex symptom vehicle and exhibit themselves differently. So vibrations, noise, visuals. Now, when we're talking about systems, visuals are the easiest to identify and the easiest to fix. So for the most part here, if you've got a scratch in your paint or a chip in your windshield, all you have to do is point to it when you arrive at the dealership. Those are what I call no-brainers. You don't even have to have a translator, because just pointing to the visual defect is very simple, very easy to do. Those repairs are done, normally they're fixed right the first time. You don't have problems interpreting and translating. You show it, you see it, you fix it. Those are simple, I call those simple repairs. But where you get into trouble is, and it's very expensive and costly, is when somebody says, well, I hear it's making a squeak, or it's got an odor, it's got this. And the service writer ends up writing up 5 or 6 different symptoms based on your different senses. For example, women can hear frequencies and vibrations a lot easier than men because they bear children, babies, and they scream at night or cry. They're sensitive to that more so than men. Back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, women would take their automobiles to the dealership and say, it's got a squeak. And the guys, service writers, would take it out and drive it around and say, she's crazy, because they couldn't hear it, but it did have a squeak. So today things are a lot different. Now in the system that I created for Ford, what it does, it gathers the symptoms based on the vehicles, the build, the build year, the models, the engine, the transmission types, and it categorizes them together so that after a while you can look at a vehicle and almost tell the customer what their problems are, because these complex systems all fail in very similar manners. The only difference is the longevity of the failure. For example, you got what they call a short ride to work. You may only drive 1.5 miles with your vehicle a day, or you may drive 1.5 hours with your vehicle a day. But the different drive conditions of the vehicle put wear and tear on different parts of the vehicle. For example, braking. If you have to brake in city driving very often, and then you brake very rarely when you're doing highway driving, so you can get a lot more miles on your vehicle if you're driving a lot long distance without stop signs, crosswalks, things like that. So let's go back to the example that I'm trying to give you. In this specific case, a sliding door, a secondary latch. A secondary latch is safety purposes on vehicles, like a secondary latch on your engine compartment hood. If your secondary latch doesn't secure properly, that means you have a slight gap in the door, and that slight gap does many things. It can cause your air conditioner to not heat, your air conditioner not to cool, because the hot air is coming in through the door and fighting the air conditioner. Or just the opposite, where you have it's cold outside and your heater is not getting warm enough because the hot air is going out. You also have conditions where moisture is coming in, or sand particles, or dirt, or odor. You're going by a place that's recycling, for example, or you got methane gas or something in the area is putting out an odor. So you pick that up inside the vehicle. You can also get water in the vehicle. Now you have a musty odor that smells. So you have all different kinds of symptoms. You have moisture on the windshield because the moisture is getting into your vehicle. So that one example, that one failed root cause item of the secondary door latch has multiple symptoms, and depending on who's driving, how strong their senses are, how many people are in the vehicle, you could have 6, 7, 8 different symptoms. So when the vehicle goes to the dealership to get repaired, the service writer wants to know what are your concerns. And you could write all those various symptoms, and then he has to dispatch it to the experts so that they can diagnose it and fix it. The problem today that auto manufacturers face is that when they dispatch it, they'll dispatch it to the most, or who's ever available. So maybe there's a water leak guy. He's going to check and see if you got moisture inside the vehicle. He does his thing. He finds out that, guess what? The secondary latch needs to be fixed. He fixes the secondary latch. He fixed the vehicle. And as far as he's concerned, his job is done. But then the work order has to go to the other areas, the vibration, the squeak, the rattle, to have those experts fix the concern that they're responsible for. And what happens is nobody finds the problem because it was just fixed by the water leak guy. Now, when you think about that, there's 5 people who worked on the car and only 1 fixed it. But all 5 people need to get paid because they spent time. And usually they spend a lot more time because they can't find the problem. When you can find the problem quickly, it's usually a lot less labor costs to diagnose. And but when you go to 5 people who are looking for something that doesn't exist, 4 of the 5 or 5 of the 6, whatever, you've got a lot of wasted money. And it's called trouble not identified, TNI, or problem not found, PM&F. So there's billions of dollars wasted on looking for problems that don't exist because they exhibited multiple symptoms. How can we reduce that? How can big car companies reduce that? Well, it's really simple. Any one of those 5 symptoms has one root cause. We know that. The computer that gathers failures and symptoms tells you that. I always say follow the data. because part of my expertise is data analyst. And if you watch the data, understand the data, then you will realize that the problem was fixed and it directly correlates to the other symptoms. So now, ideally, if you had a symptom correlation guide for anyone, any symptom that has any failure that has multiple symptoms, and you keep that array in your computer, it would be very easy to fix it right the first time and eliminate NPF for no problem found conditions. I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into see, hear, feel, taste, touch, smell when we talk about complex systems. And hopefully you'll be able to understand how waste many times is misunderstood because there's a direct correlation between what you pay for and what you think you should be paying for, if that makes any sense. Thank you.